Good morning, you guys. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jazzy. Today we are trying the new cake batter Dunkin', but also I'm just gonna do this is just gonna be like a update on my life because there is a lot to update you guys on. So first things first, I'm gonna try this just because I've been dying to try it since I got it and I've been waiting to show you guys. Okay, so it definitely tastes like cake batter, but it also tastes like something else I've tried. It's not my favorite. I would not get this again. It is definitely cake batter flavor, but it's not my vibe. I'm not a fan. Yeah, that's a no. That's gonna be a no for me. That was not very good, honestly. But I will drink it and I will try my best to enjoy it. It's definitely like a weird flavor. I don't know. It's a latte, so it's milk. But then like the cake batter flavor is very familiar, and it tastes almost like, I don't know. I think I always associate like a bad flavor from Dunkin' to the pecan flavor that they had at one point, and that flavor was disgusting. I feel like this probably does not taste like it, but it's giving me the same vibe as the pecan. But what is in my bra? Oh. I forgot to put my AirPods in there. On to the updates. So there are many, so just like buckle up and get ready for this because there's been a lot that has happened. So first things first, I got my hair cut while I was out of town, while I was visiting my mom. You guys have probably already seen that it was cut, but I don't know if any of you noticed because nobody said anything, but I definitely got like a massive haircut. My hair used to be like way further down. I feel like I got probably like 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 inches taken off, but I really like it. I think it's cute. And then she also did like a taper look to it, which I really like. And I keep trying, like every time I go get my hair done, I'm so sorry you guys, this truck over here is really wanting to speak to us, but every time I have my mom do my hair, I always want to like try the new thing and like do a part in the middle, and like she does a great job cutting it so that I can part it in the middle, but this looks stupid, does it not? This just looks bad, so I always end up parting it back to where I normally part it. But anyway, another update that I'm prolonging on because it's actually been like so bad, you guys. It's been so bad. I'm gonna turn the car on because it's hot. Hopefully you guys will still be able to hear me, but it's like way too hot to not have the car on. So a part of why I haven't vlogged at all is because I really like wanted to give myself some time to like process what all happened, because a lot happened while I was out of town. So while I was out of town, Keaton got sick, and then our AC was like not working. Our AC was completely like not working. Dominic was living in like 85-degree weather with no AC, having the windows open. It was really bad. So first Keaton got sick, then we realized the AC wasn't working, so we had the landlord come. Well, actually that's not true. We realized the AC wasn't working, but the landlord didn't end up coming the day he was supposed to come, and so he ended up pushing it off for whatever reason, and then Keaton got sick, and then we had the landlord come. And when the landlord came, he checked it, he said, okay, cool, we're gonna get have like an AC guy come. So an AC guy comes, he checks it, and it turns out that there was a Freon leak in our like AC unit, so it was like cracked, and like there was Freon squirting out of it. And so I actually put makeup on specifically so that I wouldn't cry over this whole situation, because it was actually so bad, you guys. So there was a Freon leak, and we don't know if this was the cause of the babies getting sick or not. But after Keaton got sick, we realized the Freon leak, and then Sunday ended up getting sick. And all of this was while I was out of town. First I was at my parents', then I was at Elena's when Sunday ended up getting sick. But by sick, I mean like she was just having like really bad gastrointestinal issues and like just not good like poo, if I'm being honest with you guys. It was just like really bad, and she just was not doing well. And she was like pooing in the house, which she's never done her whole life. Like she does not do that in the house. And the reason that we realized that Keaton was having issues was because she also was doing that in the house, and she's never done that outside of her litter ever. In all the time we've had Keaton, she has never gone to the bathroom outside the litter. And then one time Keaton peed outside the litter in like one of the cat beds that I have. And so that was crazy too, because Keaton never does any of that. So we were kind of freaking out, if I'm being honest with you guys. And I was freaking out because I was so far, and Dominic was telling me not to come home because he had it under control, which he did, but it was just really hard, I think, on both of us, because he was dealing with it by himself. I was dealing it from a distance by myself, and I think I really should have came home in hindsight because it was just a lot. So then we obviously know the Freon is leaking. We don't know what's going on. Dominic brings Keaton into the vet. They say she has nothing wrong with her. They test her to see if she has worms or anything like that. They say no, she's perfectly fine. They give her medication. Literally the day after they give her medication, she's better. Like she's not sick anymore. It was honestly so weird because the medication that they gave her was dewormer, but they said she didn't have any worms. We don't know anything about any of that, obviously, but it was just odd that then she was better suddenly. However, the reason she was better, at least we think, is that the AC guy came. So we brought Keaton, or Dominic brought Keaton to the vet, and then the AC guy came that same exact day that Dominic brought Keaton to the vet, and the AC guy said, your AC is leaking and you need to turn your AC off. Like, you can't be having your AC on because the Freon is going throughout your vents. And so we asked, Dominic asked if the Freon could be causing any issues with the animals, like if that could be what's causing Keaton to be sick, and the AC guy said no, it's not. He said it's possible, but he doesn't think so. Well, we Googled it, and it is possible, but it's rare. So anyway, that could not at all be why. But then obviously Sunday ended up getting sick, and like supposedly, I don't even know what to inform you guys about because, like, I don't know if it was from the Freon, but at the same time, the fact that Keaton ended up getting sick, like, it could have just been a perfect storm and she was on medication, so she ended up getting better. Or we could have turned the AC off and that she wasn't getting the Freon poisoning. Because what I read is that Freon, when it's in the air, it sinks to the ground because it's heavier than the air or something like that. And so a lot of times the first sign is if your animals get sick. So because the animals are so close to the ground. Or kids end up getting sick faster than adults do because they're closer to the ground and they can be contaminated faster, obviously, or like, you know what I mean. So anyway, now when we realized all that, I was kind of freaking out because obviously before I went out of town, I moved the bed to be closer to the ground. And so a part of me was thinking maybe she could have gotten sick because I moved the bed closer to the ground and now it was more Freon poisoning to her, or maybe it has nothing to do with Freon at all. But it was just really tough. And then obviously Sunday ended up getting sick, and that was really, really hard as well. So Sunday ended up getting sick. Dominic brought her to the vet, and they said nothing was wrong with her either. They said gastrointestinal upset. So I was on my way home the day, like probably 2 days after Sunday got sick, I was headed home. And she seemed to be getting better, is what Dominic said. She seemed to be getting better, and she was doing better. But then the night that I was literally driving home, she ended up going to the bathroom and there was blood in it. So he kind of like freaked out, obviously, and he brought her to the ER. And so I ended up driving home and meeting them at the ER and picking Sunday up at the ER when I got there, because it ended up, what the ER guy said was that it was just gastrointestinal upset or something, like it was nothing that like was controllable or that like they didn't know what it was. They blood tested her. They didn't x-ray her though, and in hindsight I wish they would have x-rayed her. But anyway, they said not a big deal, we'll give you this medication, she should get better. Let me just preface this by she's better. She's much better. So like, I don't want you guys to think I just realized that it probably seems like I'm leading up to something like really dramatic, but she is much better now. However, when we brought her there, she also was doing this like weird hacking thing. And Sunday always does a hacking thing. If she gets too excited, she ends up hacking. And so it's never really been a big deal, but it was a different hacking. Like, it sounded worse. And so the vet ended up coming out and telling Dominic that the hacking could be tracheal collapse, and I don't recommend looking that up because I looked that up and it was traumatizing. I'm not going to lie. So for literally like the next couple of days, I literally thought she was dying, because the way that the lady explained it to Dominic was that what happens with dogs that have tracheal collapse, trigger warning here if you've ever had a dog that had tracheal collapse or that could, like it's in smaller dogs, it's just not good. What happens basically is they end up, I'm not even going to tell you guys, just if you Google it, you'll know, because honestly, that I appreciate that she told him that, but we also, it wasn't like a confirmed case of tracheal collapse. Like they didn't do x-rays on her or anything. So even though I really do appreciate her like looking out, I also think I could have done without hearing the things that she said. And like same with Dominic, like it was honestly so traumatizing, you guys, because basically they told us that like she could end up like just dying one day because she can't get air to her. So thank God I put this makeup on, because it is really withholding my tears from me right now. But yeah, so they ended up telling us that. So the whole next day, we don't have any AC at this point, you guys. If you remember, they made us turn the AC off completely. So, because Dominic he kept turning it back on, turning it back off, hoping it would work, and like some air would circulate. But they told us we had to turn the AC off completely and no circulation of air, basically. So at this point, we're sitting around the house after I get home that whole weekend with no AC, windows are open, it's 85 degrees out, and it was just so bad, and it was peak pollen. So Sunday was a hacking, like I'm talking, it was so bad. It was just the worst. And so it was just bad. So anyway, moral of the story, if you're having AC problems, because we've been having AC problems for a long time, but it wasn't something that was like a big concern to us, because like if the AC wasn't working, we would just turn the AC off and we would just go about our life, and then we would turn the AC back on when like later in the day. I don't know. It just really wasn't a big deal to us. So we were kind of just putting it off. If you're having AC problems, do not put it off, because your animals could get sick, or they could not. I don't really know. I'm not a professional, and I don't actually know why they ended up getting sick at all. Like we actually have no idea. And so it was honestly the most frustrating situation to have gone through, because we had no answers. Like in the end, I feel like we don't have any answers. But the good news is everybody's good, everybody's healthy now, and we have a new AC. So the landlord ended up getting our AC fixed, and that was really amazing. But it was just really bad, you guys. It was just so bad. And like after having, like, I did have a really, really good time in Florida, but like the behind the scenes of what was going on in Florida was like phone calls with Dominic and like crying myself to sleep, because I didn't know what was happening to the animals, and it was just really sad. So that goes to show, don't believe everything you see on social media either, because even though I did have a blast, and like I honestly, it did shape things for Dominic and I. When I got back, we both kind of started talking about possibly moving to Florida again, and because I really do miss being around my friends, I miss being around my family, and I miss having a community. And so we actually just talked about this last night, that even if we weren't to move to Florida, I would like to build a community somewhere, because here we didn't really do that. Like we have like one group of friends, and by one group of friends I mean like we literally had 2 friends, and Dominic has some friends, I have some friends, but we don't have like a community of friends. Like and I think community is really important, and it makes you feel whole. And so we had this whole discussion last night. If we decide not to move to Florida, wherever we move, I feel like that's really important to build a community. And it was hard to build a community because we were obviously in COVID times, but it definitely feels different. Like I think a part of why I was so happy when I was in Florida was partially because of the beach, obviously, but secondly because I was around Elena, and Elena makes me so happy always. But third, because I had people that wanted to see me, like Elena's mom came to visit, I went to see my friend Celine, like there were people that wanted to be around me. Where here, I mean, I don't have many friends here, so it's just, there's not people that, I don't know, I think it made me realize that, like, building a community is important in that people would notice if something was wrong with you. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Obviously, I have my community here online, but it would be nice to have like a community of people around me. I don't know. This all came about last night because I was watching Good Trouble, which if you guys have never seen The Fosters, 10 out of 10, 20 out of 20, recommend The Fosters. But The Fosters led into Good Trouble, which is like a spin-off show of The Fosters. And like Good Trouble, one of the cast members was not there anymore. She was not going to be on the show anymore. And they all got together. They were this big community, and she talked about chosen family and all of this stuff. And it kind of made me emotional because I was just like, we don't really have much of that here. Like, I want to have a chosen family here. Like, I think that's really important. And so we kind of talked about that a little bit. But we are talking about the possibility of moving to Florida. There are a few reasons that we don't want to move to Florida. Most of them being, if I'm being very honest with you all, most of them being political reasons that we do not want to move to Florida. And okay, you guys, I am sorry about that, but my phone decided it wanted to overheat. So I said, whatever, I'm gonna go for a little drive while it's overheating because it wouldn't let me turn it back on. And now it like keeps blacking out. So hopefully it's even recording right now for you guys, but I guess we'll know later when I go to edit this video. But anyway, we have definitely been considering moving to Florida. I've actually had so many of you reach out and tell me like that you think we should move to Florida and like what's holding us back. And there's a lot holding us back, if I'm being honest with you guys. There's a lot holding us back from moving to Florida. Without going into too many details, there's just a lot in Florida that we don't like. And there's a lot about Florida that we don't like. Even though I do love being in Florida, I love the sunshine, I love the beaches, there is a lot that I miss when I live in Florida. So if most of you know that I used to live in Florida, and I lived there when I went to college, and I really loved living there, but I missed the snow so much, and I really did miss like the season changes and stuff like that. So I know that is something we would have to adjust with. And also Dominic absolutely hates that there's no season changes, and so that is something that he would have to adjust to. And he definitely, like, when I came back from Florida, he kept telling me over and over again, like, we should move there, like, what's holding you back from moving there, like all this stuff. Same thing that you guys have been saying to me. There's just a lot that's keeping me back from moving there. I don't really want to move back there and then want to move again. I want to move somewhere that I know we're going to want to be long term. And my fear with moving back to Florida is I already did that with New York. I moved to Florida from New York, then I moved back to New York because I missed New York or maybe I missed my parents, I don't know. But then immediately when I got back to New York, I wanted to move back to Florida, or I wanted to leave New York at least. So like, my fear is that yes, in a dream world, it sounds amazing and I want to live in Florida, but my fear is once we're in Florida, I don't know how much I'm going to want to live there because I don't like the political climate there is definitely not something that is up my belief system's alley, if I'm being honest. It really is not my vibe, and so I'm afraid of that. I feel like we're very lucky we didn't live there during the pandemic, because I feel like maybe we would feel differently about everything. Sorry you guys, this thing is angled weird now. But I'm concerned because it's not even just the political climate, it's the signage around in Florida. Like, there's a lot of billboards in Florida that are against like a lot of women's rights and things that honestly make me sick. And so like, you guys get to see the fun parts of me being in Florida, but you don't really get to see the behind the scenes of that, how like distressing that is for me. Is that the word? Just like how, I don't know what the word is, but seeing certain things all the time, constantly in your face, are definitely not something that I'm interested in. So there's a lot about Florida that I really am not okay with and don't want to live in, but then there's a lot that I do love, and all of my favorite people are there, and I know that, but it's gonna be a hard decision. We definitely have been talking about it recently, and the possibility of moving to Florida, because we definitely know what you're saying. Like, we know what all of you are saying, fine. I'm very happy when I'm in Florida. Dominic is very happy when he's in Florida. Granted, he is on vacation when he's in Florida. But, like, I wonder if all of that has to do with Florida or if it has to do with the people that are there that I love. And if it has less to do with the location and more to do with the people. And what I have to think about that is that I haven't really been putting myself out there in the past 2 years. Like since COVID, I haven't been really putting myself out there to meet people very often. And the times that I have, I've made really good friends out of them. So I think if I just put myself out there more, I could really like enjoy this area even. And yeah, I don't know, you guys. I definitely see where you all are coming from, and it's definitely on the table. I'm not going to act like Florida's not on the table because we have been talking about it. Dominic has been honestly encouraging a move to Florida for a while now, and I just have been resisting it for various reasons. But I don't know, you guys. We'll see where the next year takes us. We were just talking about California again yesterday because my biggest concern is picking up all of our stuff, moving again and moving to Florida for it to not be long term. Like wherever we move next, I want it to be long term. And if that and my concern is that we're always going to want to live in California. It's going to be a concern, I think, forever for me because moving to California is so expensive and I don't really see that ever happening, at least not in the foreseeable future, but we will see. So that is the updates for now that I'm going to give you guys because I know this video is already so long, but I am going to be like I think I'm going to be changing my posting days. I haven't quite decided what days yet, but I think I'm going to end up not posting on Mondays and doing Tuesdays instead. I just don't really know. I don't really know for sure what days I'm going to end up posting. So just keep a lookout and I will let you guys know what my new like updated schedule is going to look like. And I love you guys. This has been amazing being able to talk to you guys again. I feel like it's been so long since I've talked to you guys last, like just sat down and been able to talk to you. And I'm excited to continue to do that. But I love you and I will talk to you guys in the next one.